A group of virtually unknown soldiers who fought in the Civil War were recently discovered. The men traveled from a distant land in search of a new home. These men volunteered to fight in a war which was not their own. They served on board naval ships. They were infantrymen, and they died on the battlefield. In spite of their service and sacrifice, they were not considered citizens of the United States. These are truly men without a country. This is their story.
How many Chinese served? And my figure is 80 to 100.
The number of Chinese who served in the Civil War may not seem like a large number, but it's actually quite significant if you look at the population of Chinese in the Northeast at that time period.
When he was sailing across to the United States, the crew members gave him the nickname of Joe, so that is how he got his name Joseph. And when he arrived at the United States in 1853, Franklin Pierce was President of the United States at that time, and that's how he got his surname. So they named him Joseph Pierce.
The fact that he was sold and brought to this country at the age of 10, and then at the age of 21, the fact that he cared enough about this country, his new country, that he would take the chance and go sign up for the service and serve in the Civil War for a country that wasn't even his. Our great-grandfather, he is a big part of history now. It's just a very proud feeling, and very proud.
Among the Chinese who made their way to America during the devastation of China, brought on by the Taiping Rebellion, was Edward Day Kahota, then a young orphan.
He was never legally adopted, but taken on really as a son and given the name, and I love this part. This is so wonderful, that he was named after the ship.
The Battle of Cold Harbor in 1864 claimed the lives of over 8,000 men in a series of frontal assaults that occurred within an hour. Edward Day Kahota was among these brave men facing seemingly inevitable death. And it is here where events took place in his life that would carry with him forever. Private John Tomney of the 70th Regiment New York Excelsior Brigade is the only Chinese-American soldier documented to have been killed during the Civil War. John Tomney was one of the bravest soldiers in that bravest of brigades, the Excelsior. He had not been wounded up to Gettysburg, but in Friday's fight, he was struck by a shell, which tore off both legs and shortly bled to death. Daily Alta, California, August 5th, 1863. The stories of these Chinese-American Civil War soldiers were recently brought to the attention of Congressman Michael Honda.
Over 50 Chinese who participated in the Civil War. And when I looked at that, I said, "You're kidding me." Then I started thinking, how do we recognize their contribution, their spirit, their lives in this country, as we do every other a soldier that's been in combat. One of the ideas was to see if we could not recognize these folks posthumously by granting them a citizenship.
It gives us a place in history, and it's a sense of pride for us that we can say we have served courageously and patriotically for our nation.
These men who were without a country were given an opportunity to begin a new life. What prompted these men to volunteer in battle, we can only assume was their sense of duty and loyalty to America. Despite many obstacles and lack of recognition for their military service, these Chinese men would remain loyal to America.